Hi everybody. So before I go out with my family to see Finding Nemo at my mom's neighbor's kids' school, I figured that I would do a summer book recommendations video. I just watched Sarah Caroli's video where she talked for a little bit about books that she is planning to read this summer, or books that she recommends with summer vibes, and I read pretty much the same books as her, except for a few minor differences. So, one book is mentioned in my Taylor Swift coded TBR video, which I pre-recorded the other day, and this video is going to be scheduled to be posted after that video. So please watch that video first, because I will review Beach Read and also Malibu Rising in that video. So, the first book I wanted to talk about is Malibu Rising, which again, I just mentioned that I reviewed in my Taylor Swift coded TBR video that is going to come out before this one. So this is probably my, let's see. So this is in the series of historical fiction books that is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. They're all standalone books, but they take place in separate time periods. The first book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is set in the 1950s in Hollywood. This one is set in the 1980s in Malibu, California, hence Malibu Rising. And then Carrie Soto is Back, which I reviewed in my Taylor Swift coded TBR video. Takes place in the 90s and is about a tennis player. So I gave this book 4 stars, I think. I gave Carrie Soto is Back 3.75 stars, and I gave Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo 5 stars. The next book I wanted to talk about is a book I will be reviewing in my TBR list for Pride Month, which will be reviewed in my quarterly wrap-up for new releases. I will be mixing a review of this book in with my reviews of the new releases, because one of my other reviews for Pride Month books is also a new release. So, the book that I am going to be talking about now is Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. This is, the book discussion group at Print Bookstore for the discussion on June 10th. I will save my review for the upcoming video at the end of June, where I review this book with the Pride Month TBR. So please stay tuned for this review too in that video. Sorry for the repetition for the next 2 books, because they were in the last video that I made last night, but I'm going to talk about them again because they are top-notch recommendations. The first one is 5 stars. It is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I totally agree with all other comments that Sarah, Destiny, and Haley and Rachel might have said about this book, because I know they talk about it on their channels too. Christina Lauren's writing is engaging, and the relationship between Elliot and Macy is very sweet and genuine. And I reviewed this in the video that I watched last night, so for further commentary, just watch that video from last night. Another repetitive book is called Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I literally just reviewed this whole series in last night's video, and the more thorough review of Just for the Summer is in the video from April where I talk about new releases. So please, for more thorough discussions on this whole series and just for the summer, watch my other 2 videos for sake of being repetitive. I don't want to say the same thing over and over again. Another book I wanted to talk about is a book I returned to the library a couple of days ago. It is called Summer Stage by Meg Mitchell-Moore, and it is about a summer stock theater director who works at a summer stock theater in Block Island, which is somewhere in Rhode Island. And I gave this book 5 stars for the setting, for the fact that it's set at a summer stock theater, and basically for nostalgia, because in 2007 I had an awesome summer internship at the New London Barn Playhouse, and while I was reading this book, that is pretty much all that I thought about. The next book I wanted to talk about is Spring Fever by Mary Kay Andrews. I did not even know that I had this book. I was recently sorting through my bookshelf lately to look for other summer books to read other than Beach Read and books by Emily Henry. And this book caught my eye, and I don't know where I got it from or who gave it to me. Maybe I borrowed it from the Hull House and forgot that I borrowed it. Well, the Hull House is getting it back because that's where it's going in a couple weeks. So this book is about a lady who's getting divorced, who is trying to, like, figure out her relationship, and she goes away to this... Oh, wait. I will just share what the synopsis is. Anna Jane Hudgens truly believes she is over her ex-husband, Mason Bayless. They have been divorced for 4 years. She's engaged to a new terrific guy, and she's ready to leave the small town where she and Mason had so much history. She is so over Mason that she has absolutely no problem attending his wedding to the beautiful, intelligent, delightful Celia, the woman everybody in town adores. Everyone, that is, except for Anna Jane and her lifelong best friend Pauline, Pokey Bayless. But when fate intervenes and the wedding is called to a halt as the bride is literally walking down the aisle, Anna Jane begins to realize that maybe she's been given a second chance. Maybe everything happens for a reason, and maybe, just maybe, she wants Mason back. But there are secrets afoot in the small town of Pasco, North Carolina, in the home of Quixo Cherry Soda, and the company has been in the Bayless family for generations. Change is on the horizon, however, and even though anybody born in Pasco is raised on a cherry soda and its mascot, Dixie the Quixie Pixie, things are most definitely not going to be the same for long. Soon, Anna Jane discovers that change can bring out the worst in people and uncover family scandals. And even though people are determined to keep Anna Jane from getting what she wants, happiness could be hers for the taking, and the life she once had with Mason could be in her future. That is, if she can find out what she's really made of and matters most. So... This book is the only book so far on my DNF list for my books with beach lake vibes, thematic TBR, because I just thought Anna Jane's character was too whiny. I thought this book was more like a soap opera where there was too much drama going on, and I just couldn't get into it. I felt the same way about a few of Ellen Hildenbrand books that I have read, specifically The Rumor and Beautiful Day. Another book that I don't have with me here that I really enjoyed that has summer vibes to it that Sarah also talked about in her video is Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan, and also Same Time Next Summer. As people know, I'm very into theater and movies. So I loved Nora Goes Off Script. I read it in February for Valentine's Day for my romantic comedy TBR, but I am certainly going to be reading it again very soon. I love the pacing. I love the relationship development. So Nora Goes Off Script is about a script writer for TV shows who writes like romantic comedy TV shows. and kind of like Hallmark movies. And the next movie she's writing is based about her divorce. So the lead actor in the movie kind of moves in with her to film the movie. And after the movie's done being filmed, he doesn't leave. And I really love their build-up and how he connects with Nora's kids. So I will definitely be reading this again very soon. I loved it. And it was really funny. The only thing I really hated about this book was the miscommunication between Nora and Leo, who is the main male character. So yeah, I highly recommend those books. And Sarah mentioned in her video that Ellen Hildenbrand is coming out with her final book next month. It's called Swan Song, and I'm very sad to hear that she's retiring, because I recently got into reading her books, and for the most part, I have enjoyed the ones that I have read, except for the ones I previously mentioned that I felt were too much like soap operas. Another book that I liked of hers is called The Perfect Couple, which is kind of like a murder mystery. Other books that I do not have with me, because I borrowed them from the library and returned them already, was Nicholas Sparks. So his books are mostly set on the beach in North Carolina, similar to this book. This book is also set in North Carolina. And my favorite books of his are The Last Song and The Notebook. And also A Walk to Remember. I have read all of those books in the earlier part of the year as part of my romantic comedy TBR. And for those of you who love the movie of The Last Song with Miley Cyrus and Liam Neeson, I will let you know that I love that movie too. The next movie I wanted to talk about is Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. This was a reread for me. I read it last year, closer to the end of the summer, and I don't know. I originally liked it, but then when I went and reread it, I realized that there were too many points of view, and I feel like that took away from the murder mystery. Like, they should have just focused on the three main characters and left the side characters out of it, because I was overwhelmed and confused, and I DNF'd this halfway through because I was just so overwhelmingly confused. The next book is a new release from April that's on backlog. The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. Sarah Adams, as I mentioned in my monthly Freakout Tag video, is one of my new favorite authors of the year. I have also read by her Practice Makes Perfect, When in Rome, and To Con a Gentleman, and also The Cheat Sheet. Top three of those books I have liked. The Cheat Sheet I really couldn't get into, so I had to DNF it at 54% because I didn't find the female lead character to be very relatable. This book is really fabulous so far. I'm really enjoying it. I just started it this morning. I'm on page 90, chapter 11. So yeah, the characters in this book are a lot more relatable for me because the main female character is a sports journalist who is working with a famous NLL tight end. And like, as I have mentioned before, I went to college to study journalism, and I had the reason why this theater blog started in the first place was because from 2008 to 2013, I was a freelance journalist for the Milford Cabinet in Milford, New Hampshire, where I covered local theatrical productions, and that's how I ended up getting involved with the Riverbend Youth Company. And I have many fond memories of working with everybody there. So, yeah, I felt like I can connect to the female main character in this book because she's a journalist. And finally, this last book is a crossover with my historical fiction TBR because it is a dual timeline. It is a dual timeline book. The first timeline is set in modern day, and it is about a woman named Hope who moves from North Carolina to Cape Cod to help her grandmother run the family bakery. And then the other timeline focuses on World War II and talks about how her grandmother lived through the Holocaust and the family secrets that she's afraid to pass on to the rest of her family and the next generation, which, so this book is a reread, and I don't want to spoil what happens for people who want to read it. So in my reread, I am on chapter 11, page 108. I just started it this morning. So I just love the scenery of Cape Cod, like Ellen Hildenbrand's books, which are also set on, well, they're set on Nantucket. This is set on Cape Cod, but similar type of vibes. So, Sarah also talked in her video about new releases that she's excited about, so I wanted to do the same thing. So my anticipated releases for June are a novel love story by Ashley Poston, who also wrote The Dead Romantics and A 7-Year Slip. A Rivalry of Thorns by Tizonia Odette, who wrote the Entangled with Fae series. Catherine Center, who can do no wrong in my book. All of the books that I have read by her up to this point have gotten 4 stars or 5 stars. My favorite book of hers has probably been, what is it called? The Bodyguard, which was also a book that Sarah mentioned in her summer TBR recommendation video. And I really liked that book too. I would say that even though Jack and Hannah did not make my top 10 list of favorite book boyfriends, which I had to recently revise because I had to add some new book boyfriends to it, they're still a very good book couple. The other book I'm looking forward to is a new book by Christina Lauren that is part of the modern day Disney retelling series, Meant to Be, which is a series I started reading during February for my romantic comedy / Disney Princess TBR. So their new book is called Tangled Up in You, and it's based on Rapunzel, and it's coming out on June 25th, the same day as A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. The next new release that is coming out next month is called Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood, and I have loved all of her books up to this point, especially Bride and Love Theoretically. So no complaints there except for the series of 3 novellas. The only novella I liked out of the 3 series was the third one, Below Zero. The other 2 novellas I didn't really care too much about. I thought they were kind of boring. But yeah, her new book comes out on June 11th. And then Meg Schaefer, who wrote The Wishing Game, comes out with a new book on July 18th, I think, and it's called The Lost Story, which, from what I understand, is a retelling of the Chronicles of Narnia. So for the new releases, I am splitting up my review posts into 2 different videos. Quarterly wrap-up, which goes along with my monthly freakout tag video. It's kind of like the sister video to the monthly freakout tag. That video will be out on June 29th, and that will cover March, April, May, and June new releases. Books I'm talking about in this video are Happily Never After, The Paradise Problem, Tom Selleck's memoir, You Never Know, A Rivalry of Thorns, The Rule Book, and there were a few other ones. I don't remember what they are. And then in August, I'm going to be reviewing... Oh, the reappearance of Rachel Price is another one I'm going to be reviewing in a quarterly wrap-up, because I didn't get to talk about that one in the April new releases. So if you are anticipating my review of Reappearance of Rachel Price, stay tuned for that video on June 29th. In August, I will be reviewing Not in Love, The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren, and The Lost Book by Meg Schaefer. So that video will be out on August 7th. Have a great weekend, everybody.